sliding doors, like part the Red Seas of like with Jesus, okay? Parts freaking slides open those doors, walks in and starts walking up to me and talking so much shit. So she starts stepping to me and is like, oh, so what do you want to do?
Because today, tomorrow, yes, the next day, and them days after that, period, you probably had the right idea, right, but the wrong bitch. Hello.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. You already know the vibes. Today it is another motherfucking story time. I am so sorry. I know that I was like supposed to post a story on Monday, and I'm so sorry. I've been a little distracted, I'm not even gonna lie, because your girl is sprung. Like your girl is freaking sprung. I said hot girl summer and your girl ended up getting sprung. Yeah, I just been a little like distracted because like I got me a little boo. Like I got me a little boo. Now I'm not trying to talk too much about it because I like to keep certain things in my life private, because there's just people out here that don't want to see me happy, don't want to see me thriving, preying on my downfall for whatever reason. That's fine because I'm highly blessed and favored and protected at all times, period. But I have to keep certain things to myself because I just want to wait and see where they go and what happens. And a couple of you peeped it on my Instagram and were like, girl, how are you gonna post somebody and not talk about it? I'm keeping it to myself a little bit for now, but I've been like I'm one who like, it's very hard for me to like be attracted to somebody. It's very hard for me to fall for somebody or like somebody, or feel like, ooh, like I'd rather hang out with them than be at home watching true crime. What? Like dead ass, it's very hard for me to get into that, like, you know, mindset. And I needed to just take some time and just be happy, honestly, because like it's been a long time since somebody has made me feel happy. And yeah, we're not good. Okay, anyway, besides that, enough of this mushy ass shit. It's freaking story time. If you are new here, what's up, girl? I have a lot of content on this channel that I think that you would really like. You can go ahead and check out my videos and my playlist called My Story Times, that you can go ahead and get started there. You might want to get started there because you're just not going to get any of these videos. You're going to be like, who's this, who's that? You're gonna get all messed up, all lost in the sauce. So I highly suggest you go check out my Storytime playlist. And yeah, go ahead and get your wine, get your snack, get your drinks. We're having a Starbucks today because I have a lot of shit to do today after I film this video. And I know I haven't been drinking the past couple of videos. I'm so sorry about that, but I promise the next one I'm gonna have like some wine or some like Trulies or whatever. So yeah, let's go ahead and get on to this video. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps me out. Don't forget to also subscribe. It is free. And go ahead and turn that post notification bell on so you can see more of my face every single week, because why not? And I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna wait for you to subscribe. You did it? Okay, good. Also, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. There'll be links somewhere over here. They're also always in the description. Don't forget to follow my podcast, The Millennial Empath. It's a personal development podcast, spiritual podcast. I think you guys really like, so go ahead and check that out and support your girl, okay? So let's go ahead and get on to this ratchet ass story time, okay? Time is going to be about the time that I fought my best friend. I am not somebody, contrary to popular belief, who fights. I don't believe in physical violence. I always think that communication can sort out what needs to be sorted out and figured out, and who said this and who said that. But this one time was not that time, and this is my first and last time that I was ever in any type of like physical altercation with anybody. I don't know why, but people meet me, like, I think it's because I have resting bitch face. They meet me and they think that like I'm a fighter, like I just be out here fighting people. I guess because I have really big hands, and they're like, I got an attitude, or like, oh, this girl is blah blah blah. And they meet me and they're like, oh my god, like you're so sweet, you're so nice, I love your energy. Don't judge a book by its cover, okay? Like I do not be out here fighting people. Like I don't believe in that. I don't think I ever could possibly get myself to like put my hands on somebody unless you mess with my child. Then it's a whole other story. Then Sasha comes out. Sasha is my alter ego when I'm drunk, but she also comes out when I'm mad sometimes too. So this is the time where Sasha came out. Sasha was out and she was in full-blown effect, but I had every good reason to do what I did. And it's honestly, it's so funny. This is actually going to be a high school story time, and if you watch my video where I think it's titled she cheated and I snitched. I basically talk about a time where I was in a position where I had a really good guy best friend. I don't remember what I called him, but I had a really good guy best friend, and his girlfriend cheated on him, and I ended up witnessing it, and I ended up telling him, and I was also like kind of friends with her too, but my loyalty was with him first. She was also talking to my ex that I was like hella in love with, Matt, which we're gonna be talking about in this story time. So I also felt like she wasn't really, that was the guy. Okay, she cheated on her boyfriend, my best friend, with a guy that I was in love with, like hella in love with me. I lost it to him. Like we were like always on and off. So I felt like she didn't really give a shit about me. And then I went and go told my friend, and then he snitched me out and threw me under the bus and told her. And then she hated me, and girl, it was a freaking mess. I know people come on my YouTube channel and they're probably like, this girl is so messy. But like when I tell you my life is not like this anymore. I just had some really crazy high school experiences, and I feel like they make for good story times and whatever, and I always throw a lesson in there as well. But now like my life is so low-key, so simple, like it's just not, I don't want to say boring because, you know, my life is beautiful, but like my life is so peaceful now, and I think it's because it was so hectic and chaotic growing up that it's like, it's either you grow up really chaotic and then you carry on that chaos into your adult life and you never like grow out of that because like you stay in that same age, like your trauma happened, or you're like me where you grew up super chaotic and now you just crave peace all the time. In order to get caught up to speed to the events that we're going to talk about today, I highly suggest that you watch the story time, She Cheated and I Snitched, and that is going to introduce this character named Matt. I'm pretty sure I named him Matt. Matt was my like, he never even like fully claimed me, so I don't want to sit here and be like, it was my high school love, but like, it, like that was like my first like everything. Like I lost my virginity to him. Like I loved the shit out of this boy. So basically I never really told the context of us, you know, together, but I'm gonna get a little bit into that, and then I'm gonna introduce a new character into this story. It's this girl, just go get something to drink and something to eat because it's a long story. But long story short, me and Matt started talking in 8th grade. So if you guys don't know, I grew up in Connecticut and then I moved to New Jersey when I was 14. I got taken away from my friends, my family, everything I've ever known. And like 14 is like such a tender age, I feel like, to move at, because like girls just be mean, boys be mean, there's bullying, there's judging, like it's, you know, you're just like getting like your hormones in there, you're going through puberty, you're figuring out life, like it's just, it's weird. And it was definitely like a very tender age for me to move at. I ended up moving to this town called Pompton Lakes in New Jersey, and I definitely look back and I have such fond memories of being in that town, but my start there was very rocky. I got bullied a hell a lot, like it was just, it was crazy. But that's another story for another time. But basically when I moved there, I met this boy Matt, and me and him right away clicked, connected, whatever. And he was just somebody that I really like felt like I could like confide into, you know what I mean? Like I had all, like he kind of had his own family issues, I had my own family issues as well, and we kind of like bonded over that. I guess you could say we kind of like were like trauma bond buddies. So he was someone that I like confided in, that I fell in love with really fast. Like I remember, you know, there would be times where like on Fridays, like guys would give their jerseys to the girls in the school, because if you were on the football team, he'd give me his jersey like every single Friday. Like people would be like, oh, you guys are like so cute together. And like I ended up becoming really sprung over him, and I really fell in love with him. And then I don't remember really what happened. I think like his ex ended up somehow, that's what it was, his ex ended up kind of like coming back into his life, because when you were in New Jersey, there was 2 different middle schools but 1 high school. My town was so fucking small. So there was a town called Riverdale and there's a town called Pompton Lakes. So I was in Pompton Lakes and his ex was in Riverdale, so she didn't go to school with us, but they, I guess, ended up kind of like reconnecting, and like I don't know, it was just like a whole entire mess. So basically we ended up falling off. It's not really important, but we ended up falling off. But I never fell like out of love with him. Like I still really liked him, right? So time goes on, like I get in new relationships, he gets in new relationships, whatever. And I think it was towards the end of 8th grade that me and him started talking again. And he actually reached out to me and was like, hey, like we should hang out soon, yada yada. And we ended up hanging out and kind of like rekindling things. Like I lost it to him. Like, so I was so much so attached to him because of that. Because now I'm not, obviously, but like in the time being, like it's true when they say like who you lose it to is that person that you really become attached to. So I became like hella attached to him. I was so in love with this boy, and he couldn't have cared less about me, okay? Like he did not care about me at all. We ended up rekindling things in 8th grade all the way up until the beginning of freshman year. So that's a good like 3 months. Beginning of freshman year comes and we kind of like fall off, and then I want to say that like fast forward until like the winter time. It's like not winter time, like the fall time. It's like October, November, right? We ended up rekindling things, kind of start talking again, whatever. And then again, shit just falls off. We were always on and off. Me and this boy were literally on and off from 8th grade to my senior year. Do you know how much time I wasted on this fucking boy? And he never claimed me. He never asked me to be his girlfriend. Like that's not my life in high school. Like being with these boys where they're like, yeah, I like you, but like I don't know if I could see us being in a relationship. Like, and I get it. Like I wasn't that cute in middle school, high school. I had a huge glow up. Like now, like period. In the day I wasn't like extremely cute, but like I always had a good heart. I always treated people good. I always cared. Like, you know. But whatever, is what it is. So we end up falling off. Now, I'm going to introduce a new character into my story times, and we have to give him a good name because this boy put me through hell, absolute hell. I almost had to get a restraining order on him. It was horrible. Caesar. I ended up talking to this boy, Caesar. Now, let's just say this. Caesar had a girlfriend. He was a junior and she was a freshman. She was in my class. And me and her weren't really like that close. Like I knew of her, but we weren't really like, we had like the same homeroom together and stuff, but like she was a part of this group that like I used to be friends with, and I wasn't really like too much friendly with them at this point. But we were by no means like friends, okay? I would say we were like acquaintances. So he had his girlfriend and him and her were together for like a few months, and then they had fallen off. And I didn't know Caesar at all. I just knew him of being like this girl's ex, basically, right? And that's what it was. So I had this one friend, and one night she was like, hey, Caesar's having a couple people over tonight. Like, would you want to come? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, like whatever. Like that's just how it was in this town. Like you didn't have to be like friends with someone to go to their house party. It was just like you had to like know of them. You know what I mean? Like this town was so small that if someone ever had like a party, like you wanted to go. Like you didn't even care if you knew them or not. So basically I was like, yeah, sure. And she's like, okay, it's gonna be me, you, our other friend, who we're gonna call her Stephanie, okay? Stephanie, and it's also going to be Matt. Now, me and Matt had already fallen off by this point. We weren't really like talking too much anymore, and I'm not gonna lie, I had some like built up animosity towards him because I didn't like how he did me, because we were like talking and then all of a sudden he just was like, you know what, like I can't do this anymore, like I want to be single, blah blah blah. So I didn't really respect how he like ended stuff with me, especially because he had always put me through so much. I feel like he could have let me down a little bit easier, but that boy did not give a shit about me, okay? So basically I was like, oh, okay, like whatever, like I'm gonna be drinking, like I don't care, cool, let's go. So we ended up all going to Caesar's house. Now, a couple weeks before this party, it wasn't even a party, it was like a get together, me and him had been messaging on AIM. Now, if you guys don't know what AIM is, girl, I hate to tell you, but you missed out. Y'all got TikTok, y'all got Instagram, you guys got all these apps, Twitter. We had MySpace and we had AIM, okay? And AIM was the shit, okay? You literally went on there and you would like message your friends like as if you would like text and stuff like that. It was like basically on a computer. I can't believe I have to explain this, but my age demographic is like 18 to 30. So I know some of y'all have no idea what I'm talking about. You guys are such like, not even millennials, you're like Gen, what is it, Gen X, Gen Z, I don't even know. But AIM was essentially like an instant messenger thing. So how you would like instant message someone on like Facebook message or like text them, that's what you would do on AIM. So my screen name, I think, was like, what the fuck was my screen name? I want to say it was like OOX Eye Candy. Like, bitch, you were not eye candy, okay? And I think one time it was like Back to Reality X3. And I think another time it was like Losing My Ways XO. Like, yes, bitch, you were losing your ways with these fucking screen names. Him had messaged on AIM a little bit, and I don't remember why. I think he posted a status about how he was like sad or something like that. And I was the type of person where I'm like, if I see somebody sad, like I don't care if you're my enemy, I don't care if I don't like you, I don't care if you don't like me, I'm gonna make sure you're good. I think I ended up messaging him and I'm like, hey, don't know what you're going through, but like if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. And he was like, oh, okay, like thank you so much. Keep that in mind. Keep in mind that this message exchange happened, okay? And then he like posted on his like his like away message, because we didn't even have statuses, girl. We had away messages, okay? I remember I used to have my signature at the end. I used to be like call and text, and I had this at a time where like I didn't even have texting on my phone, so who the fuck is who's gonna text me and who's gonna call me? Put like a smiley face on his away message, and I was just like, oh, like that's cute, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know Caesar like that, so I didn't develop like no feelings for him. So time goes on, and it's the night of this like party slash get together, and it's me, my friend, she's not like really relevant in the story, but she is relevant in a story like later on, so I guess I'll give her a name. So it was me, my friend Cassandra, and my friend Stephanie. So me, Cassandra, and Stephanie all go to Caesar's house. Matt shows up because Matt was friends with Caesar too. Matt's funky ass. Oh, I can't stand, I don't, no bad blood now, but like you really did me dirty. We just go there, we hang out, we start drinking, because you know, like we're bad, okay? Like we're bad. I'm pretty sure I told my mom I was sleeping at Stephanie's. I was supposed to sleep at Stephanie's, but that didn't end up happening. So it's so much fun. We're hanging out, we're watching movies, we're getting drunk. Like it's just a good time. And back in the day, we used to get like Shveka, right? Is that called Shveka or Majorska, because it was so freaking cheap. We had Majorska and orange juice, okay? That's what the hell we were drinking. And beer. Your girl used to drink Keystone Light like it was nothing. Stephanie ends up getting hella drunk, okay? Stephanie ends up getting hella drunk. Like his mom walked in and was like making sure we were okay. She was like, your mom is so hot. Like she was just making a damn fool of herself. And I remember at one point I kind of told my friend Cassandra like, yo, like she's making a fucking ass out of herself. And then Stephanie heard me and she got mad at me and she like told me off. It was just so much drama, so little time. Basically, time goes on, and I'm talking to Caesar, I'm talking to Cassandra. There was this boy there that Cassandra was like super sprung on, and she was like kind of talking to him. And then it was me and Caesar talking, but like nothing like was happening. We were just talking. Like we genuinely like confided in each other. I just have this thing about me where I can meet somebody and just talk about life and just everything for like 3 hours straight. Like I'm a very like, I don't normally meet people who I have surface level conversations with. It's always like super deep, intricate talks, and like I love that about myself because I just love talking to people and getting to know them, girl. And then I look over. I don't know why like all my friends did me dirty growing up. Like I really don't understand, because everybody knew how I felt about Matt. They knew Matt was like my first time. They always heard me like obsessing about him. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, I really was. Like I was obsessed with him because that was my first, and like I just really liked him a lot. They would always like see me crying about him, and like 3 of my friends literally got with him. Like I don't understand like how, like, well, anyway, Stephanie's little ass full on making out with Matt. Full on making out with Matt. This is supposed to be one of my best friends, okay? She was supposed to be one of my best friends. She knew how much I liked this boy, and I think that she knew that me and him were like done, and I think she saw me and Caesar and was like, oh, they're probably flirting, like whatever, so this is the green light. She was also very drunk. It's not an excuse, but she was. And they started making out, and I'm like, y'all aren't loyal. Like I have no loyal friends. Like dead ass, none of you. Now that I think about it, I had the girl that I'm gonna talk about in this story that I fought, okay? I have her who got with Matt. I have the girl Paige from, you know, the cheating story time that got with Matt. Stephanie, and then one of my other best friends. 4 of my friends, Quattro, got with this boy, and they knew how much I loved him. Y'all ain't shit. I don't know if like petite and petty got activated in me. Like I don't know what it was, but I just got so aggravated, and I'm just like, first of all, Matt, you're not shit because that's my best friend. Second of all, Stephanie, you're not shit because you're my best friend. So yeah, like I said, like I don't know if like petite and petty got activated in me, or I don't know if I was just pissed off, or I don't know if I was just drunk, but like I was kind of feeling Caesar a little bit, and I see my ex and my best friend freaking kissing and making out over there. So I'm like, you know what? No, like this is not how my night's gonna end. I'm not even gonna get mad. I'm not gonna trip. I'm just gonna put my energy into Caesar, and that's exactly what happened, okay? So me and Caesar start talking the whole entire night. We all end up sleeping there. Like we all end up like, mom, like I know you watch my videos. If you're watching this, my bad. But we all ended up just crashing there, and nothing happened. Like I'm not even like sitting here trying to like be like Virgin Mary over here, but like we didn't hook up. Like nothing happened. We literally just like cuddled together and went to sleep. Cassandra had her little boo thing. Matt and Stephanie are over there doing their stuff. Time goes on. So the next day, shit hits the fan, okay? And that's a story for a whole other time, but like I reached out to his ex because he told me something like, oh, like, I think she's mad, I think she found out you guys were over last night, blah blah blah. And I was like, I don't want no problems with anybody. So I ended up reaching out to her and being like, hey girl, like, are you upset with me? Like, are you mad? Like, I didn't even know, like, I thought, like, because what Caesar told me, him and her ended, and it was like a mutual thing. Like, they both were like, you know what, like, we're not compatible, let's not do this anymore. And they ended up going on about their merry way. So in my mind, there was nothing there to be concerned about, you know? If I had known that she was still interested in him, and same thing with her, I wouldn't have touched him. Like, it wouldn't have been a thing, but I didn't know that. So that's a whole story for another time. She ended up hating me. He ended up, like, literally, like, going, like, back and forth between the both of us. This boy did, like, put me through so much shit, okay? So I know you guys are thinking, okay, you fought Stephanie. No, that's not what happened. What ends up happening is that me and him were on and off for like a really like long time. Like, he would bounce between his ex and me like constantly, and I knew it, but I was just like young, and I was just like so like pressed over this boy. This boy was horrible to me, okay? He was so freaking bad. He would like, basically what happened was is that we started talking and we started to be together. Like, I met his family, he met mine. I would go over his house all the time. We would like always hang out. His friends knew about us. And then one day he literally just called me and was like, I really like you, you're a really good girl, but like, I'm still really like in love with my ex and I want to go back to her. And that's exactly what he did. He ended things with me and went back to his ex. But then he would do this stuff back and forth where he would break up with his ex, and then he'd come back to me, and then he would be with me, but he would still be hooking up with her. Like, it was just really bad. And like, it caused me and her to not like each other. It caused me and her to have this whole like thing. And it was a lot of drama for absolutely no freaking reason. If you're in high school right now and you're watching this, do not get into drama over boys, because the boy that you're talking to is not even going to be a factor of anything when you grow up, I promise. So I'm only going to talk about like a couple of the things that happened so you guys would know how much resentment I had towards Caesar, to the point where you'd realize why I would be very upset that my best friend would end up being with him, like in a full-fledged relationship, okay? So basically, like I said, he would go between me and his ex. He'd go between me and his ex constantly all the time. And like, we both knew it too. Like, it was a lot of shit. And I got put into a lot of drama for that. Like, she hated me because of like things that went down, and she would get people to like, you know, try to like tell me off in the hallways, and she'd get people to try to like fight me. You know, apparently like he was telling her things like, oh, like, I don't really like her like that, blah blah blah. But then he'd come to me and he'd tell me the same thing about her. It was just a whole freaking hot mess, okay? But that girl could not stand me, and like, I understand why. But anyway, it was one of the times where like he ended things with me, but he would never like fully end it with me. Like, he would never, like, he would like keep me, like, he would give me enough breadcrumbs just to be like satisfied, but never enough to be full, but never like not enough to be starving. And out of nowhere, like, this boy snapped when I started to talk to somebody else. And he literally snapped. He would hit up my phone all the freaking time, text me all the time, tell me like, oh, like, whoever you're talking to, like, I'm gonna find out who they are, I'm gonna expose you, I'm gonna tell them everything that you do, like, all of this stuff. And I didn't even do nothing. Like, I was a goody two shoes back then. Like, so I'm like, what do you mean, like, what I do, like, what the heck? And yeah, like, he would just literally like harass the absolute crap out of me, okay? He would harass me all the freaking time. He'd be like, oh, I'll tell everybody everything. I'm gonna tell his ex, he'd be like, I'm gonna tell her that like while we were together, like, I was calling you and you were picking up so she could beat your ass. Like, he literally was going psycho, absolutely harassing me. And it got to the point where he would like literally text me and be like, he would call me like if I went out somewhere, right? He would call me the whole entire night, and then if I didn't answer, he would text me. He'd be like, you're a piece of trash, like, who did you sleep with tonight, you're a garbage bag, like, all this stuff. He was threatening to like pull up to my house. Like, he was threatening to like get like his ex on me and like his friend. Like, he literally was psychotic, okay? And let me tell you that like when I was with this boy and he was like constantly like on and off with me and stuff like that, I had periods of time where, and if the topic of self-harm like triggers you, skip past the video, I'll put the timestamp on here. But like, this boy put me through so much mentally, because he would go constantly in between, like, back and forth between like me and his ex, and like, he'd make me feel so validated and loved and like accepted, but then he would just like leave me, and like, it was just horrible. And it got to the point where like I really questioned my self-worth here on this planet. Like, there was definitely times where I had thoughts of like, why am I here? Like, why am I not good enough? And things like that. And there were times where, and this is actually something I haven't ever even talked about like in therapy, where I would like self-harm, because I don't know if you guys watch Ginny and Georgia. If you do, she does this thing where when things get too much for her, she takes like a lighter and she'll like burn herself slightly, not enough to like be in a bunch of pain, but enough to kind of just like, I think she says that it's the only thing that helps her release the pain that she's going through. And that's how I felt with cutting. Basically, like, I would just get like so upset to the point where I'm just like so stressed over this boy. Like, I love him so much, but he just doesn't care enough to ever claim me or like officially be with me. Like, I'm never good enough. Like, I question my self-worth and my self-doubt so much, and I put myself through so much freaking pain that I want to say it wasn't like consistently, it was maybe like 6 or 7 times I started to like make, you know, some cuts on my arm. And now that I look back at it, I like literally cringe, because I hate pain and like needles and stuff like that so much that I can't believe I ever did that. And this is just a message, like, if you are ever with somebody who is not validating you and who is not showing you that you're worthy and that you're appreciated and that you're loved, and if they're constantly picking between you and somebody else and you're not their first choice or priority, or if you ever are with somebody that causes you so much pain, because he was he had like a drug addiction, like he had like a really bad like drug problem, and I would always want to help him. Like, I felt like, you know, like bad, like he was addicted to these substances. I'm not just talking about like weed, like I'm talking about hard stuff. And I would try to help him, and I felt like he would take out his pain on me, like he would take out his aggression on me. And I feel like that's why he would go psychotic and like treat me so bad, because I think that these substances altered his decision making. You know, your frontal lobe is not even fully developed until you're a certain age. Then on top of it too, guys mature way later than girls, and these substances, I feel like, literally made him like not realize like the stuff that he was doing. And I would always try to help him. Like, there was a couple times that he went to like rehab and stuff like that and came back, and there was just a lot of stuff that went on that I'm not going to get into because it's for, you know, privacy purposes. But he did a lot of stuff to me, and like I got to the point where I would like self-harm. And there was one time where I was in class, I had this like academic support class. It's like supposed to be like a study period, but if you struggle in school, like they put you in there to kind of like force you to do your homework and stuff. And there was this one guy, and I'll never forget that he did this. We were all cool. Like, there was only 6 of us in there. We were all different ages. It wasn't just freshmen. I had like one guy in there that was a senior, one that was like a junior. Like, we were all cool. Like, we kind of considered ourselves like a little like family. And I remember I was in class, and he sat next to me, and he literally was like, "Let me see your arm real quick." And I was like, "Yeah." And he flipped it over and was like, "Cut her." Like, "Oh, like she's cutting her." So I'm like, are you even like, okay, even if which I was, why would you announce it like that? Why wouldn't you pull me to the side and be like, "Oh, hey, like, by the way, like, do you need help? Like, is something going on? Like, can I talk to, like, can I do anything?" Like, why would you do that? And I literally had to lie and say that it was my friend's dog. My friend had a dog, and her name was like Delia. She was so freaking cute, but she would always like jump up on people and scratch them. And I was like, "Oh no, that's like so-and-so's dog," because I was with this girl all the time. She was like one of my really good friends. So I was like, "Yeah, no, like, it's just her dog. She's always on me and scratching me." And I always made sure to do it in like not noticeable areas. And I also always made sure to like not just do like 3 in a row. Like, I just did like a couple of them, you know, just to like release the stuff that I was going through. And I can't even believe I'm like, it's like so embarrassing for me to even talk. It's not embarrassing, but like, it's like I'm at such a different point in my life. Like, I would never think to ever even do that, you know. Like, I love myself so much that it kind of makes me sad. But if you guys have ever self-harm or gone through any of this, like, you understand it's not that you want to do it, it's just that you're in so much pain and you don't know how else to release it. And I definitely was a child that had a very hard time with the world. Like, I have always been an empath. I've always been an energetic sponge. I've always absorbed things around me, and I feel like sometimes things would just get so much for me, you know. Like, my dad, I don't like talk too much about this, but you know, he was an alcoholic growing up, and when we moved to New Jersey, I didn't see him for a long time. Like, years went by, you know, and I'd get a phone call every once in a while, or I get like a birthday card in the mail. And you know, I definitely had like, you know, daddy issues because of that. My mom was with my stepdad, who I couldn't stand, and you know, I gotten ripped out of my hometown at 14 to go to this new town where I had no friends. I didn't know anybody. I had this new family that I didn't didn't really like mesh well with. Like it was a lot. And I feel like a combination between everything. And then, you know, I feel like I felt like I never really, this is getting so off topic, but if you're one of like my subscribers that really fucks with me, like, you'll let me talk about my life, okay? So I felt like I never truly belonged in this world. I never felt like I fit in with anybody. I never felt like people understood me. I felt like I had friends, but I more so had friends because like I was the easy target. Like I felt like people only hung out with me not because they cared about me or not because they like wanted to be friends with me, but because they were like, oh, she's an easy target, we can make fun of her. Or like, oh, she could be the rut end of all of our jokes, or she could be the catalyst for this and that. And there were some friends that I definitely had there that were like really fucking good friends and like really like, you know, took care. Like I didn't have money growing up, like I didn't have shit growing up. Like I had this one friend, Amy, who was such an angel, and like I remember she, like, we would like go out to like pizza and stuff, and like I couldn't ever really like get nothing because I didn't have any money, and she'd be like, you're like one of my best friends, like I'm gonna support you if you need it. Like she was a really good friend. I had some friends that were really good, and then I had some friends that were just like, I felt like I would always be like the last one to be invited, and it would only be because like I would be texting them, you know, like, or it would always be like, oh, like you could come if you want, or like, oh, like they talk about something that they were doing and they would see that I'd kind of be standing there like, and they'd be like, oh yeah, Dakota, like you could come. Like I just always felt like I didn't really have like friends that actually like I didn't have like a group that actually like loved me and cared about me and valued me. I feel like it was just like, you know, like, oh, she's an easy target, because like I was so sensitive, you know, and like people would always like prey on that. And you know, I felt like I could never, like, I was always like out there searching for love. Like I always wanted to like search for love within a boy or a man, or like someone that could make me feel validated, because I felt like I had no male figure in my life that like was there for me, you know. And so I looked for love in all the wrong places, and I attracted all these like narcissistic people that had all these issues that like made me be like, oh, but like I want to fix you, you know what I mean? Or like, oh, like I can help you, like I can heal you, like I'm here for you, like my love is gonna be enough to make you get out of this. And like it was just never that. And if you're like me right now and you're that way, the best thing that you can do is protect your energy, protect yourself, validate yourself first, create happiness in yourself first, and like really heal from these issues. It's gonna save you a hell of a lot of energy and heartbreak in the long run. If I could like go back and talk to my younger self, I'd be like, you're enough by yourself. You're gonna do amazing things in this world. I know you don't see it right now because you don't have people around you that, you know, give a shit about you. But I think that also at the same time, I think people around me saw that I had like a light within me, and they almost wanted to like break it, you know what I mean? Like I remember like if I would be with like a couple of my friends and we would go out to like other towns like for parties and stuff like that, people that I didn't know there would like gravitate towards me because they'd be like, oh, like she's dope, like her energy is cool, or like she's funny, you know what I mean? And I feel like my friends would kind of get like, oh shit, like why are they talking to her, like why are they, you know, liking her or validating her? And they would start like making fun of me, so that way those people would be like oh, like she's an embarrassment, you know, like stuff like that. And I feel like that was in a lot of my friendships, and I think that maybe I had something within me that they saw, that they were like, oh, that's different, or that's likable, or that's relatable, so we need to like make fun of her so she's like tainted. It's like nobody thinks that she's special, you know. And I always knew like within me that I had like something within me that was really special and very rare, because I've always been very connected to God and like my spirit guides and stuff, and like I always knew that like I was gonna do something amazing in this world one day. I always knew that, like even though people would try to like tear me down and say that I suck and that I'm not good at anything, I'm not talented, like I always in my heart knew that I was gonna do like big stuff in this world one day, and I always held on to that. I never let anybody completely break my spirit. They did a little bit, but not fully. That was a whole freaking spiel I just went on, but my story times always have lessons. We're not here just to talk about fighting and, you know, Adrian and cheating and stuff. Like we're here to talk about real life stuff, because not enough people do that on this platform. It's about, you know, spicy noodle challenges and couple pranks and, you know, flexing our BMWs and our Rolls Royce and our freaking Rolex watches. But like let's talk about real stuff, because like material shit, that doesn't bring you happiness. This boy put me through a lot, and I finally got him to leave me alone because my stepbrother at the time had like a friend, and this friend was already graduated from high school, but he was like that one kid that you like didn't fuck with. Like he was very much about that life, and I think that either my stepfather or stepbrother reached out to him, and then he reached out to Caesar and was like, yo, I don't know, like I'm not trying to get in your business, I don't know what's going on, but all I know is that like you're bothering this girl, and like her and her family both want you to leave her alone. So like if you keep bothering her, like I'm gonna have to take things into my own hands and basically like leave her the fuck alone, okay? Like just leave her alone, stop harassing her, stop doing this and that. And he did. Finally left me alone. There was even like one day where, because he had ended up getting back with his ex, and I ended up just being like, you know what, like I just like don't want to like be in this anymore, like she could have him, whatever. There was one day where I was at the ice cream station. If you're from Pompton Lakes, you know what this is. And the ice cream station was like an ice cream shop where they had like the best bagels and best potato soup and best ice cream ever. And I was we got to go out for lunch for like an hour, and I left the ice cream station and I was walking and I was going back to the high school because it was literally like down the street, and him and her were outside and they were fighting, and I had walked by and he had the audacity, I didn't know this until later on that day, he had the audacity to tell her like, oh yeah, well you know what, I was with Dakota like 2 nights ago, so how do you feel about that? Meanwhile, me and this boy hadn't hung out for like months, literally had no contact with him, no nothing with him, and he had the audacity to tell her that he was with me a couple nights ago just to get her pissed so she could be like jealous, I guess. And then she ended up trying to get one of her friends to like tell me off, and I'm like, I haven't talked to this boy in months, like what the hell? So this is, I'm just telling you, like how like boys are such drama. People say it's girls. Any drama that I had growing up was because of boys. Like it was not ever because of girls. Like yeah, girls can be like catty and stuff, but it was mostly boys that were freaking catty. Like when I was getting bullied and stuff, it was mostly by men, okay? So anyway, time goes on, and I want to say maybe like 6 months go by, and he ends up graduating, okay? He ends up graduating and he ends up leaving the high school. Now, let me remind you, I almost had to get a restraining order on this boy because he was always harassing me, always like just calling me horrible names, saying that I belonged in the dumpster, like stuff like that, okay? So time goes on and he ends up graduating, and it's like summertime, I want to say, okay? And I have this one best friend, and for the sake of this story, we're going to call her Miranda. I know there's like so many names. In the beginning, it was me, Cassandra, and Stephanie going to Caesar's house. That was just context to tell you guys how me and Caesar came about. They're not relevant in this story for the rest of the time. I ended up getting really close with this girl named Miranda, and we were like best friends. We did everything together. We went shopping together, to the movies together. We was like my best friend, okay? We only lived like 8 minutes away from each other. She knew my family. She had slept over my house a shit ton of times. I'd slept over her house a crap ton of times. It was like we were close. Like we were literally like this. We were best fucking friends. Now, for the rest of the story, I'm going to be talking about some stuff that happened, but let me just tell you, there's no bad blood at all. This girl's actually like doing her thing right now. Like she has like her own business. She's like popping. She has an amazing life right now, and I'm so proud and happy for her. And even though like we're not friends anymore, there's no bad blood. Like I still follow her on Instagram. She follows me. Like it's cool. Like there's nothing that's like weird, okay? I don't have any animosity or anything like that. I'm just going to be talking about an experience that happened years ago. Like this is not a relevancy anymore. I'm not here to bash anybody's character or like smear anything. It's just literally talking about an experience that I went through. We had like this mutual thing where we both really liked drinking, okay? we both liked drinking, we liked partying. Like it was fun, and we would go to like, you know, like some parties together. We would just have like a really good time, and I really loved her and cherished her as a friend. Now, this was like end of the school year. So end of the school year comes about. It was like a month until school was over, and I remember I was like so freaking excited because when you were a senior, like you had to do so much fun stuff. We would have like pep rallies and assemblies and like senior night. Like it was so much freaking fun. So I remember I was just like really hyped, and I was getting excited, and I was at like a really good place in my life. I feel like I had found like my friends and like my friend group that I really like loved and cherished, and I was having like a really good time just in life and stuff, and I was in a really good spot. So my friend Cassandra, like I said from the beginning, was having a party at her house one night, and her mom was like away. Like there was like this period of time where like her mom ended up like going away for like certain weekends, and she would just have like people over and stuff. So she was gonna have a party at her house, and I was so freaking hyped for it. I was so excited. I just love like going to people's houses like in the summertime, being around like a bonfire and like drinking and stuff like that. Like it's just so much freaking fun to me, and it's such a vibe. So she was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a fire, and like she was friends with all different people. She was friends with like some freshmen, she was friends with like seniors, she was friends with people who were like outside of like our grade too, like who had graduated. So I knew there was gonna be like a cluster of people at this party, and she warned me before. She goes, hey, I don't want to like prevent you from coming, and I'm not saying that, you know, like I don't want you to come, like I do, but I'm just letting you know that Caesar's gonna be there. And like I know you guys have like a bunch of like, you know, stuff going on and stuff like that, but she was like, I'm gonna tell him beforehand, like he's not allowed to talk to you, he's not allowed to do anything with you, like he needs to like leave you the fuck alone. And I was hesitant. I was like, like I don't really know if I want to go. I remember I was even telling my best friend Miranda, like I really don't want to go, like I just don't want to see him, like he just brings up such bad like memories for me. And she was like, girl, fuck him. Like she heard about everything, like she knew about everything. Like I had told her, because like, you know, when you're best friends, like you get close and you start like, you know, talking about like, oh, like your past relationships and stuff. And also like he'd be like at parties every now and then, like when we went to them. So like she knew about him, like she was highly aware of Caesar and like everything he did to me, and like, you know, stuff like that. And so like she was fully aware of the stuff that had happened, and she was like, girl, like fuck him, he's such an asshole, like I don't get how people can be like so horrible and things like that. So she was like fully aware of who this guy was, everything he did to me. She knew I almost had to get a restraining order on him, etc. So she had good knowledge of like why I wouldn't want to go to this party. And she was like, girl, no, like just like, you know, he's not gonna bother you, and if he does, like we'll leave, like don't worry about it. We're hype, we're going to this party at our friend's house, we're gonna be outside having a bonfire, drinking, and it's gonna be a good ass time. So we get to this party and he's already there, and I'm just like, oh great. I didn't even have no time to prepare, he's just right there when I walk in. So he was there when we walked in. I'm not gonna lie, it was like really awkward at first. It was really awkward. I'm just like, oh my god, like I don't know, like he's just, oh god, like he just gave me like, oh, I couldn't stand him, I couldn't stand seeing him. And Matt was not there, but you know, Caesar was. And he ended up like coming up to me at one point during the night, and he's like, hey, like I know you probably hate me and you don't like me, but I just want to let you know that like, you know, I'm sorry for like the things like I put you through, and like I want us to be cool. And I was just like, I mean, we could be like mutual, but I was like, we're not cool. So he went ahead and he like apologized to me, and you know, everything was good. So the night goes on, and I don't know what it was with this boy, but when he got drunk or he had like substances in him, he had such a slick and smart mouth. He started like throwing like side jabs at me, and he started like just kind of like low-key being rude and just like saying like stuff. And like even people at the party were like, dude, like relax, like we're all just trying to have a good time here. And it got to a point where like I was really annoyed, and I was just done with it. I'm like, you know what, this is why I didn't want to come, like this is why I didn't want to be here, like I want to go. And then, you know, a couple of my friends were there too, and they were like, no, like just hang out, just drink a little bit, just chill, like don't worry about him, whatever. And at one point I look around and I see that Caesar's not even outside. So I'm like, oh, did he leave? And somebody was like, oh no, he went inside to go to the bathroom, but he was in there for hella long, okay? And I'm just like, you know what, whatever, he could stay in there, like I don't care. For all I care, he could stay in there for the rest of the night. And I ended up actually having a really good like rest of my night. It was so much fun. And you know, we're all just like drinking, hanging around the fire, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, where is Miranda? I haven't seen Miranda in like an hour. Like what the hell? But I didn't even put two and two together, like, oh, Caesar's like over here, Miranda's. I didn't even put two and two together, because in my mind it was nothing to me, because she knew how much this boy would put me through, and this girl's my best friend, so she would never do that to me. So in my head I'm like, oh, like she wanders when she's drunk, like she goes and she wanders and she'll talk to people, or she'll like call her ex or something, like she'll just that's how she was. So I'm like, oh, you know, whatever, like I'm gonna let it rock, cool. So I end up deciding that I'm gonna go, and I called, I think my stepbrother was gonna come pick me up, and he ended up coming. He's like, hey, I'm here. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I ended up gathering all my shit, and I had to go inside because I had to use the bathroom. And tell me why those two were in there. They were in Cassandra's house alone, and apparently they had been in there the whole motherfucking time. So I'm like,
if 2 + 2 is 4, right? And 5 + 5 is 10. Okay. What the fuck is this?
So tight. I'm like, it's the audacity for me. Like, it's the audacity for me. Like, why? You know, this man was horrible to me. You know, I had to literally almost get a restraining order on him. You know how awful he's treated me and been to me, and the hell that he's put me through. Why would you even be anywhere speaking to him? Like, you should be avoiding him like the freaking plague. So I literally just looked at that and I was like, cute. And I left, and she tried to like come up to me and say bye to me, and I was like, no. I was like, we'll talk tomorrow. And I looked at him and I was just like, ugh. Like, I literally looked at him and I just rolled my eyes and went, ugh, and walked out of the damn house. I went home so tight that night. I was so mad. I was so, oh God, I was so irritated. I'm just like, why do people just not have my back? Like, why do people just not care about me? Like, I don't get it. To make a very long story short, they start dating. Like, literally boyfriend and girlfriend. They start dating, okay? And I was pissed. I even talked to her and I'm just like, how could you do that to me? Like, I didn't have any feelings for him anymore. It wasn't about that. It was the morality and the principle of the thing. Like, you know that this boy did all this stuff to me. You heard all the stories. Like, why are you staying with him? You know, like, why are you like dating him? Like, it just makes no sense. Basically, yeah, I mean, like, they started going on and being boyfriend and girlfriend, and I was really upset about it. I was very mad. I was just like, how could you do that to me after all, like, we've been through, after all I've done for you? Because there was times where, like, people would, like, give her such hate, and I would stick up for her, and I'd be like, no, but that's my best friend. Don't talk about her that way. Like, there was so many times, like, I was just there for her, like, ride or die. That's how I am as a friend. And I felt like she just completely, like, shitted on me, and I was so upset about it. But at the end of the day, I didn't want to lose a friend, and I really cared about her still. So I said, you know what? If you want to go into this and you want, knowing all that you know, if you want to go into this and you want to go ahead and be with him, okay, cool. But just know that you can't talk about him with me. I don't want to hear about him. I don't want to know about him. I don't want to know what he's doing. I don't want to know how you guys are. Like, that kind of sounds like selfish and bad, but like, considering at hand what the issue was, I just told her, I was like, I don't want to hear about him. I don't want to know anything. I was like, leave me the fuck out of it. And she just was like, okay, like, yeah, I understand, like, whatever. I guess that they had like talked that night, and then they exchanged numbers, and like they ended up just having feelings for each other and hanging out, and it just organically happened. And like, I understand that, but given that, you know, how much of like a jerk he was to me, like, I just don't really understand that. So there was one day where we were like talking, and I had brought up something to her. I don't remember what it was, but it kind of had to do with Caesar. And she was like, oh yeah, well, he told me like his side of the story about like what happened with you guys and everything, and like according to him, like, you're not like telling the truth about a lot of the stuff that happened. And I'm like,
cut the cameras. Dead ass.
I'm pretty sure the acts he committed was when he was under drug addiction. I was sober the whole time. So like, I'm pretty sure my story probably checks out better, but the fact that she was even questioning it made me really irritated. So that was strike one. Okay, oh no, strike one was this happening in the first place. Let's just do that. Okay, strike one was the first thing, was her even being with him. Okay, strike two was when she was questioning the validity of my story. Okay, third strike comes one day. I'm at school. We had the same lunch period. So I was like, hey, like, let's meet up for lunch. She was like, okay, cool. Yeah, like, I think I'm gonna, you know, like, go to my house or something. If you want, you could come over there. And I was like, okay, great. So I ended up going over to her house for lunch. I met her there because she had gotten there before me. And I don't know what it was. Like, I always say, like, you are who you hang out with. You are who you're in a relationship with. You are who you surround yourself with. Because I'm telling you, that, like, negative energy will, like, penetrate into you. And she was normally somebody who was, like, super positive, super upbeat, like, laughing all the time, cracking jokes left and right. And I felt like when she got with him, like, she just completely changed. Like, she was drinking a lot more. She was being a lot more negative. She was, like, letting her, like, responsibilities kind of, like, slip up and stuff. Because, like, you know, you're talking to an older man and stuff like that. It's just what happens. Like, they kind of take you out of like where you're at and bring you to where they are, and sometimes you kind of forget, like, oh crap, like, I have like other stuff going on in my life, like school and stuff like that, especially because he wasn't in school anymore. So I just felt like he was kind of like taking her out of character. And I just like looked at my friend and I just didn't recognize her anymore. Like her whole aura was different, her attitude was different, and I can't remember for the freaking life of me what we got into it about, but she said something to me and she was really freaking rude when she said it. And I don't remember, like, and it gets me so mad, it's a pivotal part of the story, but we kind of started like going at it a little bit, and like she said something to me, and she said something to me that was so like rude and just gross, to the point where like I literally looked at her and I was just like, I'm gonna head out now, like I'm gonna go for lunch somewhere else, because like the way that I am, like when I get really, really mad, my mouth can be ruthless. And so that's why, like, if I ever get into like an argument with somebody, like a boyfriend or a friend, I always say like, I need some space, give me some space, let me go for a walk, let me clear my head, and then we can come back to this conversation when I'm much more level-headed and clear. Because even though I'm 27 years old, I'm an adult, I've matured a lot, I'm not like, you know, petty or anything like that anymore. Like I'm very much so like clear and level-headed, and I always take the high road. To this day, if I am mad enough and I'm pushed to the point and I don't get that space to cool down, like I will say something that's gonna just hurt your feelings, and I don't want to do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we all get like that. Even the most clear, level-headed person in the whole entire world has their moments where they're just like, you know what, I think it's funny how, blah, 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 and I didn't want to do that. So I literally took what she said, I took it, and I was just like, okay, that's how you feel? All right, I'm gonna head out now. And I left, okay? I left her house. And I literally remember I was so mad. I called my mom and I was just like, this girl has the audacity to, number one, be dating somebody who did a lot of shit to me. Number two, be saying like my story doesn't check out, and now she's acting rude towards me. I was so mad. I had to go to Wendy's and I had to get me a junior bacon cheeseburger because I just needed to calm down. Like I needed food, I needed it right away. All right, first of all, I was already hangry. It was lunchtime and like I don't play about my food, okay? Number two, she was mad rude to me. So I was in a horrible mood, and that was honestly like the downfall of our friendship. Like I remember I literally just texted her and I was like, you know what? Like I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore with you. I said, if you're gonna be, I'm not making you choose because your choice is already clear, but I was just like, if you're going to be with him, I can't be friends with you. I was like, I'm sorry, but I will never support it. I will never be on board with it, because not only is he a terrible person, but his energy is like penetrating onto you, and I just don't get how you don't see that. That was the end of our friendship. And it was funny because my other friend and Cassandra ended up staying really good friends with her. Like they ended up, you know, still like always hanging out with her, and like it literally was to a point where it's like me and my other friend and Cassandra would like hang out, and they would hang out with me and her separately. So like we'd go out and do something, like the three of us, and we would like hang out, and like then the next day they would like go and do something with her and hang out with her. Like they literally had to like keep us separated. We had to have like separate like going out, like going out places and outings, and like you know, friend dates. Like we literally had to have separate stuff because I refused to be around her. I was like, because I knew what was gonna happen. I was gonna be around her and then she was gonna try to like, you know, like swivel her way back into being friends with me. And I held grudges really, really hard when I was younger, and that's one thing that I do regret. I don't do that anymore, but like I could hold a grudge. Like I hold a grudge for days, okay? There's like one day where I was out to lunch with one of my other friends who was also friends with Miranda, and they were like, so Miranda was talking about you the other day and she said like she misses you. And I was like, oh, like okay, like she can miss me because she was still with Caesar, and I was like, I refuse to be friends with her, she's still with him. And she was like, yeah, like no, we were out to lunch, and she was like, I really miss Dakota. And I told her like, you know, you kind of just like gotta let it go. And she was like, no, like I really miss Dakota, because me and Miranda did everything together. We were best friends, best freaking friends. And even my other friend that I was out to lunch with, they were only friends because of me, because I introduced them together. So I guess, you know, she just missed me and she was thinking about me and stuff. I said, well, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss her. Like I do, but I was like, I can't be with her, she's with Caesar, like that, I'm not doing it. And she was like, no, I understand, like I'm not taking sides, I'm just saying, like she said she misses you. And I'm like, let her miss me. I had to say that. It was maybe 2 weeks later. I was with a bunch of my guy friends, because at this point I just lost my best friend. I had like a couple of girlfriends, but I mainly was hanging out with guys. And it was like maybe a group of like 3 or 4 of us. We always went like off-roading. We always just had like a good ass time, and they were so much fun to hang out with. And so we were all hanging out, and we were in my friend's pickup truck, and we were just like driving around trying to figure out something to do. And they said, oh, Michael's having a party. Michael was like one of our mutual friends. He was like, yeah, his dad's out of town for the weekend. He's gonna have people over. He had like this big ass finished basement that was so nice with this nice flat screen TV, which is gonna come into play later on in the story. So just remember I said that. And they were like, yeah, let's go over there and let's hang out. And I said, okay, cool. So we go and we park in his driveway, and Michael comes out and he's like, Dakota, you're not gonna be happy with me. And I said, what? And he goes, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but Miranda's inside. And I just was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I just want to have a good night. I want to have a good time. I just want to play some beer pong and some flip cup and just like chill. Like, I just want to chill. Like, why does somebody always have to ruin my moment? And he was like, listen, just don't talk to her. Like, you guys stay separated. You know, there's enough people here to the point where she can hang out with your friends. You can hang out with your friends. And he was like, if anything happens, she'll be the first to leave. Because me and Michael were like kind of cool, you know? So he was like, listen, if anything happens, I'll tell her to leave. Like, if she tries to like talk to you or like she makes you uncomfortable, she'll be the first to leave. Like, don't worry about it. But he was like, please just keep it calm, cool, and collected. This is my house. Like, I don't want to disrespect my house, like whatever. And I said, you know what? Okay, all right, I'll go in and I'll be cool. But I said, I just don't want to talk to her. I was like, I have no problem. Like, it comes to a point where it's like, if you're going to keep pushing me, eventually the bull is going to come out, you know? And like I said, back then I had some pretty like severe like emotional issues. I didn't know how to express emotions properly because I just had like so much going on. So I walk in and she's already drunk. I'm just hanging out with my friends. Like, we're just like talking, like having a good time. And she walks up to me and she's very drunk. And she just was like, I'm really not trying to start drama. I know you don't want to talk to me, but can we, like, she's like, Dakota, we've been best friends for so long. Can we please talk? And I literally looked at her and I said, listen, we can talk, but it's not going to be tonight. I said, let's talk tomorrow when you're sober. I said, you're drunk right now. Emotions are clouding your judgment. Like, let's talk when you're sober. And she said, okay. And that was the end of it. She stayed away from me. Like, she stayed away from me. She went to go hang out with her friends. I went to go hang out with mine. And she kept her distance, okay? And it was fine. So time goes on, the party's happening, we're playing flip cup, we're playing beer pong, we're cracking jokes back and forth, and like, it's a fun time. Like, everyone's chilling, everyone's cool and whatever. So it comes to a point where it's me, my friend Kevin, my friend Bobby, and then a couple of our other friends, and we're all just talking and we're laughing. And like, Bobby was the type where he would always like make fun of me, but it was like good and fun. Like, I would make fun of him too. Like, he never did any, like, said anything like hurtful. It just, we would like crack jokes at each other all the freaking time. So he said some shit to me and I just started laughing, and I was just like, oh my god, like, shut up, you're so annoying, Bobby, like, go away. And then I kind of started like making fun of him and like cracking jokes at him too. But he started it. Like, he came up to me and he was like, oh, Dakota, remember today in the group chat when you said this? I said something stupid and they were all making fun of me for all freaking day. And that's just how we were. We would just pop jokes all the time. Nobody else was in the room. It was me, Bobby, Kevin, and like a couple, my friend Ryan, and then his little brother. So we were all just chilling, okay? Just chilling. But like, when I laugh really loud. Like, even to this day, like, I don't know what it is. My laughter is so obnoxious. And nobody was in the room. I don't know where Miranda went. She was with her friends. Like, I don't know where anybody went, but there was like this back room that had these like sliding doors. And I'm pretty sure they were all in there, but I wasn't paying any attention because I was with my friends having me a good time. This girl opens those sliding doors, like part the Red Seas of like with Jesus, okay? Freaking slides open those doors, walks in and starts walking up to me and talking so much shit. So much shit. She literally walks in and is like, oh yeah, you're really gonna be sitting there laughing at me right now? You're gonna be talking about me with all your little friends right now after I tried to be nice to you and say, let's talk. I tried to work things out. I've been trying to reach out to you, and you're really gonna sit there in front of my face at a party and talk shit about me, Dakota? Really? You're gonna talk about me? Like, you know when you're drunk and like, you keep repeating her yourself? That's what she kept doing. She's like, oh yeah, you're really gonna sit there and laugh at me? You're gonna laugh at me? You're gonna talk about me? And this didn't make the situation better at all, but me and all of my guy friends look at each other and we just start busting out laughing because we're like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody's talking about you. And you guys know I'm very honest. Like, I would say right here now, if I was talking about her, I was not talking about Miranda at all. Bobby was literally making fun of me for something stupid that I said early on that day, and I was like laughing at him, you know? Literally, we all start busting out laughing because we're like, what are you talking about? Nobody's talking about you. And even my friend Kevin was like, Miranda, nobody's talking about you, because like she knew him too. And he's like, nobody's talking about you. Like Dakota was laughing at Bobby, like nobody was talking about you. Like, why are you coming in here like on one right now? And like, I know that us laughing didn't help the situation because she already thought we were talking about her, and then we start laughing like in her face. Like, but it wasn't like that. It's just like, you know, when something is so ridiculous that you don't know what else to do besides laugh, that's what the situation was. So we all start busting out laughing, and I literally looked at her and I said, girl, I said, nobody's talking about you. I said, I was talking to Bobby. Like, I literally said that. And she was just so, I think the situation was that she was so drunk that she already had it in her head that I was talking shit about her and that I was laughing about her, like making a mockery out of her. And I there was no swaying that. There was no like going between that. There was no like breaking that. And I understand exactly how she felt, because I definitely, like, listen, I can't drink Hennessy for a reason, because when I drink Hennessy, I make up scenarios inside of my mind that aren't true. That aren't true. We all have like our alcohol, it's like our kryptonite. Like, I love me some tequila or wine, and then we all have our crazy bitch alcohol, and Hennessy is mine. That's why I don't drink it. So like, I understand like where she was coming from, because that's happened to me before too. But when you start getting in my face and start putting your finger in my face and get this close to me, like no.
Just sat there and ate your food.
Sorry, but like, you got the wrong one and you got the right one. Right idea, wrong bitch.
Because today, tomorrow, yes, the next day, and them days after that, period. You probably had the right idea, right, but the wrong bitch. Hello.
So she starts stepping to me and is like, oh, so what do you want to do? So what do you want to do if you're going to be talking about me like that? And she literally gets this close. This, I'm not joking, this close to my face, to the point where if I went like this, I would have like kissed her. She gets this close to me, and then she starts waving her hand in my face, and like, there's only so much one person can take before they pop off. And like I said, I had a very short temper back then, and it got to the point where she wasn't letting me talk. She kept talking over me. She was screaming at me. She swore up and down. Like, I already told you I wasn't talking about you, and then all my friends said that nobody was talking about you. So you should have just been like, oh, you know what? Okay, my bad, and left. But no, instead, you want to step up to me. So if you're going to step up to me, don't expect me to sit there and be scary and not do anything back. So I wish I had this video. My friend Ryan took a video and he showed me it, and I literally, it's such bad quality, but for years, every time that I would see them, they would always bring up that video and be like, remember that time when you did this? So he was like recording it the whole entire time, and I wish to God I had this video, but I don't. So she literally starts stepping to me and gets this close to my face, bitch, okay, this close. And I just took literally everything within me. I just started having flashbacks of her dating, you know, going out with Caesar. He did all this stuff to me. She said that my story wasn't valid. Then she was being mad rude to me. And then she was like, you know, at this party, and now she's stepping up to me. So I saw red, and I took everything, all that anger, that agitation, with every cell in my body, from the top of my scalp to the bottom of my toes. I literally went like this, and I shoved the absolute shit out of her, okay? I literally was like, boom, and I shoved the shit out of her. She goes flying back, and she hits the TV. Remember I was telling you about that big ass, and it was a big ass flat screen television, okay? She literally goes like this and flies back and freaking smacks the TV. The TV goes toppling over. Somebody ran over to it and caught it so it didn't fall. And they're like, not the TV. And they got the TV. And then out of nowhere, my friend Kevin just comes behind me and he swoops me up. I don't remember, because like I said, I saw red, but I don't think she did nothing. I think that happened, and then she kind of just like looked around and like got confused. But I think that one of my other friends went and like grabbed her and was like, nope, we're not doing this. So you guys are not fighting, not happening here. Because they were like Michael's really good friends too. So they're like, yeah, I know, like, this is not happening here. This is not the time or place. If you guys want to do this outside or somewhere else, cool, but like, it's not happening down here. So somebody also took her and brought her in the back room. And because we were kind of like going back and forth and yelling at each other, everybody had like congregated into that room to see what was happening. And nobody tried to stop it. Nobody tried to stop it. Nobody tried to do shit. They wanted to see something pop off. Everybody but Michael. Michael was upstairs the whole fucking time. And at this point, I'm ready to go because you already done got me hyped up. My adrenaline is pumping. My blood is pumping. I want to go. Like, I want to go. And I'm like, no, let me go. Let me at her. Like, I was like, let me at her. Because I wasn't going to hit her or nothing. I was going to wait to see if she hit me first. But I literally shoved the absolute shit out of her. Like, and I feel bad about it to this day. I should never put my hands on her. If anything, I should have been the mature one and walked away. But yeah, I shoved the absolute crap out of her. And then they brought me back in like the laundry room and I start crying because when I'm really, really mad, it's not because I'm sad. It's because I just don't know what to do with my anger. I start crying. So I'm just like, every time I try to go somewhere and have a good time, this is what happens. This is why I didn't want to come here. Like, I just start going off. And then to make matters worse, so she leaves. I don't know if he kicked her out. I don't know if somebody walked her. I don't know what happened. But Michael comes in and he's like, and this is what broke my heart the most because he was really mad at me. He literally just looks at me. He goes, I told you if anything, she'd be the first to leave. Why did you do that? Like, he starts yelling at me and I'm trying to tell him, no, like, she came up to me. She did this, but like, he was not trying to hear it. He's like, girl, you just almost broke my TV. You shoved her in my house. Like, this is my house. This is my dad's house. Like, I thought we were friends. Like, how could you disrespect me like that? Like, he just starts going off. And so I start crying even more because I'm like, it wasn't me. It was her. She came up to me. So anyway, my friend Kevin is like, let's go, like, calm you down. Let's relax you, whatever. We're in the laundry room and he just is like talking to me, calm me down. And I guess in the meantime, my guy friends had went up to Michael and they were like, dude, like, it really wasn't Dakota. She literally was in here. She was talking to Bobby. They were cracking jokes back and forth, laughing. And she just came in here stampeding and started going at it with her. And they were like, she got up in her face and that's why she shoved her. And so I guess they had explained to him like what had happened and he finally was like, okay, you know what, like that makes sense. Like, Dakota's not the type to like fight people. Like, she's not the type to do stuff like this. So he was like, all right, let me go talk to her. So he comes back there and he talks to me. He's like, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Like, they just told me the story. And then we all just start like talking about it. Like, we just start talking and I'm like, yeah, like I wasn't doing anything. I deadass was back here. I was chilling. I was hanging out. And then all of a sudden she comes in here and she just starts going at it with me when I didn't do anything. I was literally minding my business as per usual. And this is what the fuck happens. And so we all start talking about it and then he starts laughing. He goes, did you really shove her into the TV? And I was like, yes, I did. And then Ryan goes and shows him the video. Like, the minute that I shoved her, everybody was like, oh, like, so dramatic. It wasn't even that much. Like, I didn't like hurt her or anything. I just like shoved her. Like, bitch, get off me. I feel bad to this day that I did that because like, you should never put your hands on anybody. But like, there's only so much shit talking someone could take until they explode, you know? For I think up until a year after that, at every party that we went to, he always played it all the time. And I'm like, this video haunted the absolute shit out of me. And so this town was so freaking small, you guys, so small that everybody knew everything about everyone. So the next day I go to cheerleading practice and I park my car and I'm walking up and everybody's on the bench and I can't even get 1 foot up on the bench before everybody's like, what happened last night? What did you do? I heard that you got into a fight. I heard that you and Miranda fought, blah, blah, blah. And like, people had literally took this story and ran with it. Someone said that I punched her. Someone said I pulled her hair. Someone said that she smacked me. Like, it literally like was a story that got taken out of context so much. And I literally had to say, I'm like, it was nothing. I literally pushed her. They separated us and that was that. I was like, I didn't beat her ass. She didn't beat my ass. Like, I didn't do anything. All I did was push her. Like, you would push like a little brother or sister. Like, get out of here. People just like never let me live it down. They just talked about it all the freaking time because it was a small ass town and when drama popped off, it was like, oh, we have something to talk about now. So that happened and it was just so freaking annoying how this shit just kept following me. Like, it was very, very irritating. And it's actually funny because I want to say like, so that was like summertime. Me and her got that cool, I want to say like September-ish. So she ended up leaving him, thank God, and we ended up actually becoming cool again. And but it was never the same. Like, we became like friends again, but I feel like we never became like best friends again. You know, shit happens with friends. That's just high school. Stuff happens. You end up dating someone that they've dated and it just, stuff pops off and then you get back together and everything's good. But yeah, that was about the time I fought my best friend. I definitely didn't like fight her. I just like pushed her, but I don't know. I mean, what else do you title it? I shoved my best friend into a TV. That actually would make a great title as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a huge like. Also, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? It is absolutely free. And turn your post notifications by turning the bell icon in the corner on. That way you can see more of my face every single week. Thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. Oh my god, like literally when that happened, I cried all day. That was my biggest goal. Like I literally was looking back at videos on my Instagram in the highlight that's titled YouTube, and I was like February when I was like, hey guys, just letting you know that I have the possibility of being monetized on YouTube. All I need is 1,000 subscribers and like 4,000 hours of public watch time. And the fact that I went from like 100 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers in like 4 months is absolutely mind-boggling to me. I appreciate how much you guys rock with me and how much you guys support me and love me, and I read all of your comments, all of your DMs, all of your messages, and I just am so full and so happy and so emotional and so grateful. Like I would not be anywhere on this platform or anything without you guys. You guys are the ones that make this happen, and just thank you so freaking much. This was my biggest goal of the year. Like in 2021, I was like, I'm gonna get to 10,000 subscribers. Like once I get to 10,000 subscribers, like that's how I know I made it, and I made that happen, and it's only July. My next video is going to be a huge giveaway basket that I'm gonna make for you guys. I'm gonna go shopping for it probably this weekend, and you guys can enter and have a possibility of winning. It's just my small way of saying thank you so freaking much. I wish I could send all 10,000 of you a gift basket. I wish I could meet all 10,000 of you, and I'm just hopefully one day we all can meet and have like a meet and greet or something. But I love you guys so much. Like you guys are literally my family. You're my best friends. You're my everything. And I don't even call you guys subscribers. I call you guys my supporters, because we support one another. And I'm not gonna get emotional. I promised myself I wasn't gonna cry, but sincerely, thank you so much. I can't wait until I can sit in front of this very camera and say thank you for 1 million, because I know that we are going to get there. So thank you guys so freaking much. I love you so much. Don't forget to follow me on social media, on my podcast, on anything that you could possibly think of to get in contact with me. I go live on there, and it's just a cool way for me to interact with you guys. And let's do today's post notification shout out. The post notification shout out goes to Jenna Beckman. It says, literally screamed when Adrian blamed you for putting your debit card down on the table to pay for the other half. Like what the fuck? No. If you guys didn't watch my last time crashing into the side chick's house, yeah, Adrian is just crazy. He's a very interesting fellow. But thank you so much for commenting on my video and for showing me love and support and watching my content. If you'd also like to have a post notification shout out, all you have to do is comment on one of my videos, and when you're done with your comment, say done. That way I know you have turned your post notification post notifications on by hitting the bell icon, and that will alert you every time I post a new video. So if I post something, it'll basically just like come up on your home screen, like Dakota just posted a story time. That way you can see it right then and there, girl, and you don't have to be like, oh my god, I didn't see that you posted because of the algorithm. Like I bring the algorithm to you, okay? Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. I love you so much. I'll see you in my next story time. Bye.